Today on Network Africa, Muslim cleric is sentenced to death by hanging in the Nigerian state of Kano. Ethiopia faces a serious humanitarian need as the El Nino weather phenomenon hits the country. Health officials now unsure that there has been an outbreak of Lassa fever in Taraba State, northern Nigeria. Network Africa begins right now. Hello everyone, welcome to the program. I am Amarachi Ubani. Abdul Nias, a Muslim cleric in the northern Nigerian state of Kano, has been handed a death sentence by the Islamic court for insulting the Prophet Muhammad. Nias is said to have been a preacher with the local faction of the Tijaniya sect founded in Senegal by Sheikh Ibrahim Nias, which has a large following across West Africa. His sentence is said to be the first for blasphemy handed down by a Nigerian Sharia court. Nias was reported to have said that Nias was bigger than the Prophet, and there were violent protests after the declaration. Our Channels TV correspondent in Kano State, Idris Jibrin, joins us now with more on this. Idris, thank you for joining us on the program. Idris, could you tell us more about this blasphemous statements made by Abdul Nias? We do seem to be having problems with the connection there with Idris. We'll try to reconnect with him and have more on the story. In the meantime, peacekeepers in the United Nations and the CIR say they've begun investigations into allegations of sexual abuse among minors in the country during the conflicts there. An independent review panel that last month accused the United Nations and its agencies of grossly mishandling allegations of child sexual abuse in 2013 and in 2014 by international peacekeepers in the CAR. Now, with those allegations, while those allegations did not involve UN troops or police wearing blue helmets or berets, charges later emerged of misconduct by UN peacekeepers in the Central African Republic. And the mission of the CAR, known as MINUSCA, said in a statement it was investigating fresh allegations concerning both sexual exploitation and abuse and other misconduct by UN peacekeepers and international forces in Bangui. It said that staff of the UN Children's Fund based in Bangui have had 4 visits with 4 alleged child victims. It's not clear how many peacekeepers were involved in the alleged abuse or what countries they were from. Meanwhile, dissidents from Benin Republic have criticized presidential favorites. Prime Minister Lionel Zinsou are becoming a disastrous leader of the West African nation. That is, if he wins the upcoming elections next month. The group of dissidents, which include trade union leaders, did not propose its own candidates, but said in a statement that Zinsou's mission is to safeguard the economic policies of current President Boni Yayi. The election, which comes up next month, is considered open because there is no incumbents. But for the first time, the president has backed a candidate. Zinsou, who spent a large portion of his life in France, is viewed by some as an outsider, far removed from the realities of life in Benin Republic. But the government has debunked the claims and the criticisms, saying the assertions are call to the base instincts of hatred, racism, fear, and intolerance. Well, back to that story now about the Muslim cleric sentenced to death in northern Nigeria. Our correspondent in Kano State, Idris Jibrin, joins me now. Idris, I'm glad we could reconnect with you and get you back on the program. Thanks for joining us. Could you tell us more about this blasphemous statements made by Abdul Nias?
Yes, Amarachi, as I was saying, last year there is this Abdul Aziz Dauda, popularly called Abdul Inyas, who was arrested by the police precisely on the 8th of August 2015 during one of their Tijaniya Maulud celebrations in Abuja. So this man was brought to Kano on a charges of blasphemy on the Prophet of Islam. That was since last year. And yesterday, an upper Sharia court sitting in Region Lemu here in Kano State sentenced this man, Abdul Inyas, to death by hanging.
So what were some of the ideologies that Nias propagated, and did he have a large following?
Well, even if Abdul Inyas has a large followers, we would not know for now because nobody actually came out to say that we are against what the upper Sharia court did in Kano State, or nobody come out to say that we are against what is happening to Abdul Inyas. So for now, it's too early to say whether Abdul has a large followers to come out and condemn his sentence or not. Maybe in the next few days to come, if something like that may come up.
But people did have an idea of some of the ideologies that he was propagating in Kano.
Well, Abdul was actually not arrested in Kano. He was arrested in Abuja. There is a place they call Gudwa Estate in Abuja. That was where he was arrested. He was actually brought into Kano, probably being a Sharia state, and he was arrested by some official of the Kano State Hizbah in collaboration with some police officers. So, and no one can actually say this is the ideology he is trying to propagate. So we can't say, nobody can actually say this is the ideology he's trying to propagate. All we do know is that he did a blasphemy on the Prophet of Islam, which led to this sentence.
But there have been jubilations in Kano. Obviously, people do know who Abdul Nias is in Kano. Kano itself being a predominantly Muslim state in northern Nigeria. Have there been other reactions apart from people on the streets jubilating? Have there been other reactions to his sentence?
Well, from, the sentence was actually carried out yesterday in the evening. So from what I see from this morning to now, actually many people are commenting on this sentence. Many people are saying Abdul Inyas actually got what he deserves. I took to Facebook, on so many people, Twitter, Instagram here in Kano. All what I see, people are saying he actually got what he deserves.
So what happens now that he's been given a death sentence? Tell us what goes on from here.
Well, although he was arraigned before a court on a 2-count charge. The first one is on the blasphemy on the Prophet of Islam, and the second one is on inciting public disturbances during his Maulud celebrations. Now, the first count charge, which is inciting disturbances, Abdul was sentenced for 3 years imprisonment. And then for the blasphemy on the Prophet of Islam, he was sentenced to death by hanging. However, the presiding judge, Justice Muhammad Atiku, says Abdul has 30 days within which to appeal. So now all that's happened, we're going to wait to see whether Abdul is going to appeal to the sentence or not. But for now, we can't say maybe something will happen until after 30 days.
Idris, thank you so much for joining us on Network Africa. Now coming up on the program, El Nino hits Ethiopia, causing major worry for food production in the country. Please join us again.